All right, thank you very much. It's really great to be here. I'm back to the Beatles. Actually, I was speaking at the Beatles conference 2019. I was the ending speaker. I was giving the ending speech, and it's really, really great to be here again. And today, I'm really excited to share all of with you about the new journey we are trying to make with the NFT, but actually, we're trying to connect that ones with the financial product and financial services. So before I start to more details about the project, I wanted to give you a brief introduction about the Hanwha and actually the EBC enterprise blockchains. Actually, the EBC is a part of Hanwha Group, and Hanwha Group is doing diverse the businesses in a traditional way, including service and finance, aerospace, and solar energy. But actually, the Hanwha Group actually actively engaging with the digital platform in different way. And one of them is to invest them. So you can see some of the big names from there. For instance, the Grab and the Upbits in the regions. And in Korea, you can identify some of the digital bank like the Toast or K-Bank. So last year, the Hanwha Group make very big strategic decisions to make startup under their umbrella. So we are the first, the CIC, the company, the startup, and we started last year, and we spun off and rapidly growing, currently having about 100 employees within our company. So before to get more details, we set the mission like, we want to assetize everyone's talents, to connect more possibility and to create unprecedented values. So just with the missions, actually, I'm going to explain a few more details about the technical things and the business things. But beforehand, I prepared one short video clip, which give you a good understanding what we want to do, what we want to achieve throughout the whole journey. So I will be back in a few minutes.
Hi, I am Sora Choi, and I'm a baking recipe creator. Let me introduce how my life has changed with NFT CV. NFT CV is a blockchain-backed CV or portfolio that records my individual talents such as previous employment history, qualifications, and creative projects. Let me share how my life has changed with NFT CV. I can now easily verify and prove my baking certificates, original recipes, and transactions derived from conducting baking classes. For example, I can check the details of students who took my classes all in one NFT CV. Since NFT CV is on the blockchain network, I can now verify and manage my own recipes. I don't have to worry if someone else develops another recipe based on my original recipe. Because using NFT CV, I can create smart contracts between myself and the others who wish to use my original recipe. If someone generates revenue by opening a new recipe class using my original recipe, I can get automated revenue settlement followed by the predetermined agreement on the smart contract. It's so convenient. That's not all. I now have individual investors because I can issue dividend tokens for each recipe. Whenever revenue is generated from my recipe, a portion of the profit is shared based on the distribution of dividend tokens. I can now share the value generated from my talent with my talent investors. The last thing is that getting access to financial products like loans became so easy. My financial status can be verified through task contract history and estimated value of my assets on NFT CV. This was something unimaginable in a traditional financial system. Proving previous income and financial status was very difficult unless you are a full-time worker. Thanks to NFT CV, I can now record and manage my professional career journey and focus solely on honing my talents. And the value of my talent has grown exponentially. Hard to believe? Any experts like me or any creators, individual business owners, and gig workers can now record and verify their talents and grow together. Be a part of the change. Begin your journey with Enterprise Blockchain provided NFT CV. Enterprise Blockchain.
Right. They hope you enjoyed and hope so you think this makes sense. So the rest of the talk will be three parts. The first one is about the paradigm shift, setting the scenes. So I just collected some of the keywords which is related to work, right? So how people understand the work, how do people, change the way to work, for instance. And the first keywords I chose was COVID-19. COVID-19 has changed a lot of things in our livelihoods, including the work, right? So a lot of you working from home. Unfortunately, some people, lost their job because of the COVID-19. And related to that, the platform business really big things nowadays. A lot of people are getting their job and finding some opportunity from the platform, not only from the labor-intensive work, but also for high-skilled workers like the lawyers. And the work ethics, and also coupled with the millennials or Gen Z is a really, really big things. It is affecting all aspects of the society, including the work. And next thing is the digital divide job, which is associated with millennial, right? So people are not dividing anymore, so online or offline. People don't think I only work in offline, but people easily can find some works which is available online. Even myself, I do sometimes the online survey, just the 5 to 10 minutes getting some $10 books. And also, the previous speaker talked about the metaverse, and metaverse is now really connecting the online and offline. People don't really distinguish online and offline. They can find a job, they can do some activities, they can meet people, and they can interact their friends in online and offline spaces. And last thing that something is related to work is about the multi-persona. We really think this is really big things. So everybody has different kind of the persona, and everybody has different kind of multiple set of the talents. With that, you are earning some money, you are doing some hobbies, but actually previously people just do some primary job throughout their whole lives until their retirements. Actually, they are developing some primary talents and the skill set for primary job. But what they are doing now is they have more interest about the secondary job, the bouquet in Korean, and they're trying to develop the secondary talents to make their life more fun and happy. This is really, really global challenge we can change. We can find not only Korea, but also Southeast Asia and also elsewhere. And with that, the gig economy is really, really big part. And the gig economy, the size of the big economy is growing very fast over the time. And you can find some statistics in US. For instance, the number of the freelancers, or you can classify them as the gig workers. Actually, in 5 years, the number of gig workers precede the full-time workers. So this is a global challenge we can find everywhere. And previously, gig just defined as short the performance. Musicians made it or a comedian made it. But actually nowadays, people have more broad definition of the gig and the talents. You can say the gig workers to include the drivers, or you can say the gig workers, the lawyers or artists, or even some people are writing in the blog. They are part of the gig worker and gig economy. And one of the things really driving the gig economy is about the talents and the resources and actually the asset they have, right? So fundamentally, time is a limited resources, and then we can divide the time to allocate that one for a certain task or certain missions, and I can pay based on the task, for instance. But actually, there are a number of the talents we can define. For instance, knowledge is a very important asset. We can do with the knowledge from my previous affiliation to report, to provide some special report to my customer, for instance. Or community is a really, really interesting asset nowadays regarding the Web3. And finally, the artworks, you can find many NFT artworks. And nowadays, this is also the new type of asset and talents outcome. So, but not all the things good, right? So there are a number of challenges. Out of them, I just picked the three big things. First of all, a lot of the gig data set is just disappears just right after the payment, right? I was one day an Uber driver, the other day Lyft drivers. They just use my records and number of hours of the time just to pay me. But after that, I don't maintain, they don't care, but that information just disappears. I cannot maintain all the information from all different kind of the platform in a systematically way. So this is really, really big things out of the gig economy. The second thing is they are not pretty much enough inclusive from the financial system in the current financial system. You might heard that from the newspapers, the laborers, delivery peoples, they cannot get some loan from the bank because, first of all, they don't have enough information about data set to prove their income or to talents to the financial institution. But in general, financial systems are not just ready to accept and adopt the whole gig economy and the dynamics that is happening at the moment. Finally, gig economy or the gig things are really rapidly changing over the time, right? 10 years ago, probably people don't see any YouTubers. 5 years ago, they didn't know play to earn or X to earn. 3 years ago, people didn't think about the NFT work. So likewise, everything really changed, but as I said, the society or the social system are not just ready. They always behind all these rapidly changing things, but still, we need to do something very well. So what we can do, what we have to do. So the EBC, Enterprise Blockchain, wanted to do fundamental or the foundational things. That's indeed about NFT CV. Right, so as you heard and from the video, learn about the videos, NFT CV is a kind of the concept to aggregate, to organize, and to authenticate individual talents, right? It can include educational backgrounds. It can include some credential. It can include the number of courses I took for my training or to upgrade my skill, for instance, or it can include some certificates or, the English score or the Chinese score. At the same time, it can include a number of information which is related to my previous work, but not the full-time work, but like, part-time work or the task work or the mission work, which is more relevant to gig workers. So by having all this information put together in NFT, we want to make one-stop shop for gig workers. So all this kind of information just included within the NFT, and it will generate some impact in the society, all different levels, right? For instance, in individual levels, people who are working as a gig workers, they can prove their talent in an effective way, trustworthy way, and then the employers can believe and they can find the right talent in the right timing based on the NFT CV. That includes also recommendations or the reputation or the performance record of the gig workers indeed. And by doing so, we can make that ones used in more community level because communities work together and they do something, but sometimes in offline, I know you and you know me because we are neighborhood each other, but in an online, we don't know others, but they just said something, but I cannot believe how we can make some trust levels and trust layer within that community. So one of the things we can do very well based on the NFT, let's try to make something like the DAO or any other community activity in more collective way. So the NFT basically aims for better career developments and inclusive and flexible finance, and finally better engagement within the community and with the community. So further explanation, I just simplify, gig workers, the life or some elements that is required for them in related to financial perspectives. One thing really, required is they do something. Basically, they perform the task or they did some task or the missions and they make some activities, right? Some creators are writing some blog or, they are painting or they're producing some artwork or even some writers making some poem and etc. And with that, they can engage with communities. Another thing is the left side is about the wallet and asset, right? So in return, they are getting some fiat, for instance, or they can produce some artworks, the form of the NFT, for instance, and then they can send or they can do payment, etc. And then finally, the elements you can see the bottom line is about the consumption, right? So with that, they buy some commodity in offline, or they buy some digital good in online. Or they can subscribe some financial products such as insurance, or they can get a loan from the bank, the financial institution. So then, what we have done for the past just 1 year, it's a long time or a short time, but first of all, so we form and we build a personal network. That's permission network, and actually the private permission network with EVM compatibility. And actually, two main functions of the network. First is something related to NFT CV, maintaining and developing and sharing and upgrading all the functionality requires for the NFT that is equipped within the network. The second of all, very important thing is about the payments. Actually, so we call this in the P3, that stands for Programmable Payment Platform. With the P3, actually, we are circulating the currency, or we are circulating, actually, this is the FT or NFT within our ecosystem. With that, we can make the fundamentally in a technology level. And that's the private networks is now the consortium network, and we are starting with a small number of members, including us. So we have some potential partners in Korea, and we are having some potential partners in Southeast Asia, one confirmed ones, one super app in Southeast Asia. So we are starting from there, but aiming, making the platform is open and more utilized for other ecosystem players. The second thing is about the talent marketplace. So as I said, I'm providing some talent, I'm providing some service to other people. Maybe the other side, the demand side, people are looking for some talent, right? So we have launched our own talent marketplace, which name is Yogi. Currently, we are growing. Actually, we are having already 100,000 users. And the three main functions of the Yogi is first, people can provide the review of the gig platforms, which is available in Korea more than 170s. So people can reference, people can learn other gig jobs from other people's review. Second of all, as I said, talent matching and demand is happening within the application. And third of all the transactions, all the services done, that record is automatically stored and maintained within the NFT CV between the providers and the receivers. So then, people know, okay, I provide these services, and then I earn this amount of money. So this is a fundamental, basic, elementary information I need to keep, I need to maintain to make that one bigger and bigger. The second thing is one service we are launching in a few months' time for creative economy. I learned, other projects, international projects and local projects, they are preparing some services related to creative economy. We also try to make one thing, importantly, but all the activities or all the derivatives and outcomes and the interactions between the fan and communities, that one will be captured very securely, safely, and preserved ways in an NFT CV. This is another activity, and this is another types of assets I can maintain. I can be an Uber driver, but during the weekend, I can be painters, right, to produce the NFT CV, because people has multiple talents, people has multiple persona. So next one is another thing we are very proud of is we are engaging with our partners, including, for instance, Hanwha Life Financial Services. They are working with the more than 30,000 financial planners. All of them are gig workers. They are the people who are making insurance with the customer. For the past years, they have been engaging with the financial planner, and they have a number of records already in the databases, but that has been captured and used effectively in a good way. So we discussed and we engaged with them to get their data set into safely in our NFT CV consortium network. With that, the financial planner gets some benefits. The second partners we are actively working with is Animans. Actually, they are a digital platform, has been existing for the past 7 years. They are having more than 120,000 helpers in the platform. They are providing services like a delivery or the fixing or the cleansing. So we are engaging with them. We will get their data set into NFT CV, and they can get some credentials from our platform. At the same time, there will be benefits, some financial product along with that. Finally, one of the stepping stones we made last year is about the subscription insurance product. This is a financial product in collaboration with the Hanwha Life. So they use the system, the P3, which I mentioned, programmable payment platform system. With that, we were successfully launched the financial product here last year, and then it will continue for the next years. So we are expanding, right? So one thing, really important thing is as I show you in this diagram, we will be orchestrating all the building elements. At the moment, we are providing some service, certain arm. We are providing another service in other arms. So in the coming month, we are orchestrating and we will connect all the ecosystem to store all the information and capture it in an NFT CV. Then actually the workers who are having the NFT CV will be getting the benefit connecting the financial institutions. But second layer is we are not just limiting Web 2, right? Our the dreams and our goal is really beyond that. So we are pursuing Web 3 areas, right? So earning or activity in Web 3 areas, and then wallet and asset in Web 3 areas. And then consumptions, actually the purchase is also Web 3 areas. So we will be expanding in that way from Web 2 and Web 3. Finally, one's expansion, geographical expansion. We started from Korea, but actually, from the day one, from the beginnings, our target market is the whole Asia. So Southeast Asia is really, really big markets, not only number of a population, but also the size of the gig economy. Actually, also the peoples who are excluded from the financial institutions. This is really, really the market we need to enter. So we are now working on some of the product to launch in Southeast Asia. One product is coming on the ways to be launched in Indonesia later this year, and then the bigger ones are coming next year, and other countries we will continue to do so. Right, just a few more slides, 3 more slides to conclude. So these things, right, I was saying really big things. This is, we cannot only do just by ourselves. We need our partners, we need our friends, we need our colleagues. So first of all, some components or some partners we need is for the consortium, right? So basically, we are engaging with some of the partners, like, as I said, financial group or the platform company who are providing the services or who are leveraging the supply and demand side. So we are looking for, first of all, some fundamental members. Second of all, we still need some catalyst players, like, we are getting some data sets, and there is some institution who can provide the financial services. But still in the middle, someone need to say, okay, this is your credit score. This is the credit score for the gig workers. They has been, fully explored anywhere. So this kind of the partners and the players, we define catalyst player. And the third of all, as I said, we are targeting a bigger, not only Web 2, but we are expanding toward the Web 3, DeFi or any other service and applications partners. We are welcome. They can use and they can get some benefit out of the thick information about NFT CV. This is all about people talents, people's work history, what they can do, all about these, right? Leveraging that information, I still believe, these in these rooms, many partners, many applications, they can work with us. Just finally, the business is important, but one of the things we really pursue is social impact, right? As I said, really big things, financial inclusions or gig economy, all these kind of things relate to the social impacts. This is changing the world. This is tackling together some global challenges like the climate change or COVID-19. This is really, I believe, the fundamental elements we can provide for the communities. The community can work together in an efficient way, collaborate ways. Having some more partners in different layers, we can make the world better. So thank you very much.